People are often asking, what kind of KPIs should I be using to measure the effectiveness of my omnichannel journeys and my campaigns? Well, the first thing to say is that there are no standardized magic KPIs that everybody should just simply be using. It really depends on what your goals are. You should always be setting up your KPIs to make sure that they are associated with your goal. And that means actually knowing what your goal is for yourself and for the customer before you set up your campaigns. It might seem obvious, but people often don't do this. The first thing that I'd recommend doing is making sure you draw out your campaign, literally in a touch point map showing every single component in the pathway, because you're going to need to measure how one component leads to the next. And that's going to define what your KPIs are for that particular campaign. Let's use a really simple example. Say you have a social media post, which is promoted, so it's an ad. That would result in someone going to a website page where they get some information and they get the opportunity to engage with it, either through a sign-up form or through some kind of download. Following that, they then get contacted by a rep who has additional information, and the goal is for that rep to book a meeting. So your end KPI is how many meetings can you actually book, okay? So that's like the end goal, and that's going to determine the success. But along the pathway, you're also going to want to set up other KPIs. So take the ad. How many potential customers, target customers, does the ad reach in terms of impressions? That's going to tell you how good the ad placement and the ad choice and the paid media was. The second thing is, what is the click-through rate of your ad? That's going to tell you how effective the ad was once somebody saw it at converting someone to the landing page. Then you're going to get metrics on the landing page. What's the conversion rate there? So of the amount of people that landed on the page, what percentage of them filled in the form so that they can get contacted by a rep? That's going to determine how good the landing page is at converting people from the ad. And then finally, you've got an email that invites the customer or the potential customer from the rep to a meeting. Now, you're going to have a look at what is the open rate for that email. That's going to tell you the effectiveness of the subject line. And then you're going to have the amount of meetings booked. And that's going to tell you how effective the email was at selling that meeting with the rep. You can measure each component of the pathway, and the end result will be how many meetings you got. You'll work out the total spend, and you'll get an amount of spend per meeting. And you'll be able to optimize that by focusing on which KPI doesn't look good. For example, are you getting lots of people requesting extra information and then not many people booking calls with reps? That means the key thing that you need to adjust is not the ad or the landing page, it's the email that goes from the rep. So you can see if you build those KPIs based on your campaign, then you're going to be able to optimize over time. There are a bunch of what I would call global KPIs, which are typically pretty good to measure. And I'll just list out those for you just in case they're pretty useful for everyone. These are the kind of things that you wouldn't measure for a campaign, but you would measure on a monthly basis to see how the health of your marketing is going and where you need to focus at one particular time. How many new subscribers or consents are you getting per month? How many of those consents are actually qualified as target customers? How many of those marketing qualified leads turn into sales qualified leads who are interested in product conversations? How many new customers or patient starts are you getting per month? What is your account revenue versus monthly target? What is the account satisfaction for each of your core accounts? Or for example, you might use NPS score instead. And what is the percentage versus target number of customers at each level of adoption? If you can't measure these key things, I think it would be really important to be able to measure them and to make sure that the marketing team and the sales team, so the whole commercial team, can get access to these metrics on a monthly basis, look at what's not performing as well, and using that as a key indicator of where you should be focusing.